That's cassava processing. And in cassava processing, we have gari. Gari is grated. First, you peel the cassava, you grate it, you dehydrate, and then roast. So that by doing this, you expand the shelf life of the cassava. And gari can stay for a year or more without getting spoiled. And we have starch, and we have tapioca. Then we have vegetable oil extraction, where we have shea butter, palm fruit, palm kernel, coconut oil process. And these are major activities done by women. So if we introduce the equipment, we save the women from the drudgery they are normally involved. Then we have cereal and grain processing equipment, such as the corn mill. And then we train women also to go into food preservation by producing jam, marmalade, and then hot pepper sauce, what we call shito in Ghana. It's made up of oil, pepper, tomatoes, spices. You can add fish or meat, and then bottled. So that, when students are going to school, you normally have a bottle of shito. When you are hungry, you just mix that with gari, and you are okay before the official dining hall period is up. So this is a common official, and we train women to go in them. Most women have set up small-scale industries in this area. And then we have the bread and pastries production as well as confectionery production. We provide equipment for kneading of dough, rolling, and then we have ovens, gas-operated ovens, to save them from long-distance work looking for firewood. So we have gas-operated ovens for baking bread. And here again, small-scale industries have been set up. Then our training activities, what I mean by gender and technology-based training. GRATIS training programs are aimed at equipping both men and women with the requisite technical, vocational, and entrepreneurial skills for self-employment. Extension training programs are also held to support the development of rural industries for increased employment opportunities and income generation. Skills and rural enterprise training are carried out in areas such as batik tying, that we have sessions where we train women to produce. Sometimes we have a few men, but when it comes to the tie and dye session, most of the trainees are women, so that they learn how to make tie and dye batik production. Then we have screen printing, soap making, because when they produce the palm oil and they are not able to sell, they should be able to convert this into something else. So some of them make soap. We have pomade and powder making. We have beekeeping. We've trained women to become beekeepers, where they produce honey and sell. We have mushroom cultivation, snail farming, grass cutter rearing, brass wax casting, and others. So these are all small-scale enterprises in rural communities, which are handled by women. The Skills and Rural Enterprise Training Program is aimed at providing employable skills and introducing improved and new technologies to develop micro and small enterprises in rural and urban communities. We target the grassroots, but sometimes we find some people in the urban communities, especially bread baking and others. We have people taking them up as enterprises, and people have done well. They've educated their children from income from such produce. Local sustainable development includes, there are some lessons we've learned, and we are saying that local sustainable development includes many different themes and systems. For example, a concern for sustainability may require changes to transportation modes in the very remote areas. Sometimes if a project is set up and is doing well, you draw the government authorities' attention, and they end up constructing roads, sometimes feeder roads for them, and we think it's okay if you can go ahead and do something like that. Land uses, outside northern Ghana, the land belongs to the men. But when we introduce projects, we first contact the traditional leaders to give land to the women, and we make sure it belongs to the women. Because when we put the project on the land, it's for the women. And we made the traditional authorities understand this. And because of the gender sensitization programs, they grow up to appreciate this, so that when we go into the community to do our project, they embrace us instead of turning us away. And the consideration of long-term as well as immediate costs and benefits for innovation in the use and disposal of resources and energy. The GRATIS Foundation, in its quest to assist the poor in rural communities, transfers appropriate technologies to small-scale industries where women abound. Experience has taught us that to ensure sustainable development at the small-scale food processing level, for example, indigenous knowledge should be used through the participatory technology development approach, where beneficiaries, mostly rural women, are involved in properly identifying their problems and participate in the development of the technology. I said earlier, when we go into the community, study what is there before we try to solve. And as we develop the equipment, we send it there, we try it with them. Problems which come up, we try to solve it together. And sometimes you'll be surprised. There's a lot of knowledge at the village level. And so I learn a lot when I enter the village. They have the knowledge, but maybe they don't know how to use it. And if we learn from them and together we try to solve it, goes a long way. The women must be trained to carry out minor maintenance of agro-processing equipment in rural communities. I've said this earlier, and it helps a lot. Experience has also taught us that incentives that could be given to small-scale farmers, who are mostly rural women, to enhance their transition to more ecologically sustainable practices must include credit, technology, and guaranteed markets. The markets are essential in that as they you start using improved technology, they get more products, and if you don't look for sustainable markets for them, they end up having products which they cannot sell, and that will not be good for us. In conclusion, in Ghana, women contribute substantially to the economic development of the country, forming an estimated 52% of the agricultural labor force. They are the most important actors in the food chain, which begins from farm production, market, and intra-household distribution of food. They account for about 70% of the total food production. They constitute about 90% of the labor force in the marketing of farm produce. When you come to Ghana and you enter a market, you are almost, above 90%, you find that women are those selling. Men normally don't sell in the traditional market, it's women. They also play a lead role in post-harvest activities such as shelling of grains, storage, processing, and marketing. So we develop shellers for them instead of using their fingers to remove the grains. It is therefore obvious that ecologically sustainable practices, sustainable development at the small-scale food processing level, and sustainable development in general may not be achieved without the involvement of women in general and rural women in particular. That's why I was so happy about this topic when I saw it, because it's a fact. Sustainable development cannot go on without women. The key word is women empowerment. That is getting more women into decision and policy-making positions, as well as better access of women to development services, technology, credit, markets, water, etc., etc. When we involve the assemblies, we link the women with them. When they are organizing workshops or fora, they invite the women. And by so doing, we are able to get the women to tell the government authorities what they want. And it has worked perfectly. We at the GRATIS Foundation have a vision to develop, promote, and disseminate marketable technologies and skills with gender considerations for the growth of industry, particularly micro, small, and medium enterprises in Ghana and then the West Africa sub-region. We started with Ghana, but now we are into Sierra Leone, Liberia, the war-torn areas. Gradually, we are there. As well as become a reputable gender-sensitive technology development and skills transfer organization in Africa, improving access of women to the opportunities, services, and resources at the GRATIS Foundation and beyond. Thank you. So